Goodbye, atheist world. The detractors of religion use and abuse this argument they found in Humboldt, not the explorer and naturalist Alexander, but his brother, the philologist Wilhelm. Human morality, even the highest and most substantial, is by no means dependent on religion or necessarily linked to it. All civilizations were born from religious uprisings. There has never been a secular civilization. A long time after the foundation of civilizations, nothing prevents some values and symbols from being abstractly separated from their origins and becoming, in practice, relatively independent educational forces. I say relatively because, in any case, their prestige and ultimately their meaning will remain indebted to religious tradition and won't survive for long when it disappears from society. Any secular morality is nothing but a segment taken from earlier religious moral codes. This segment might be effective for certain groups within a civilization that fundamentally remains religious, but when that foundation is removed, the segment loses all meaning. The inability of secular Europe to defend itself against cultural Muslim occupation is the most evident example. The current state of affairs in countries that have more fully detached from their Judeo-Christian roots is demonstrating with utmost clarity that the supposed secular civilization never existed and cannot exist. It lasted only a few decades, never managed to completely eradicate religion from public life, despite all the repressive measures it used against it, and ultimately, its brief existence was just an interface between two religious civilizations, the dying Christian Europe and the emerging Islamic Europe. Humboldt's opinion is based on a double error, or rather, a convergence of errors that seem to confirm themselves as truths. On one hand, he makes a logical deduction from the general meanings of terms and, seeing that the generic concept of morality implies no reference to God, he applies the conclusion that one thing does not depend on the other to the world of facts. This is a vice of abstraction, inferring facts from reasoning, instead of reasoning based on facts. On the other hand, however, he observes that there are atheists, of high and substantial morality, around him and believes that with this, he has obtained an empirical confirmation of his deduction. What he doesn't realize is that their morality is only good because their behavior schematically, and externally, coincides with what the principles of religion require, meaning that the possibility of good secular conduct was created and solidified by a long religious tradition whose moral rules, once absorbed into the fabric of society, began to function more or less automatically. In short, only the abstract man, or the more or less unconscious heir of religious traditions, can have a moral compass without God. The former is a logical fiction, the latter is an appearance that conceals the reality of its own origins. Considering them as realities, and even more as universal and unconditional realities, is a primary philosophical error that demonstrates a limited capacity to analyze experience. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. This text was taken from the article, Goodbye Atheist World, written by philosopher Olavo de Carvalho in 2007.